Truly a special day. We got to see Amari and Hampton out there, and we got to see our guy Trey Lance. Now, we'll talk about the game. Obviously, there aren't too many things to take away, but to celebrate, I'm going to be drafting in a $500 fantasy football draft tonight. Now, of course, there are 8 spots open in this right now, so sadly, we're going to have to wait just a little bit for us to get that going. But what we can do in the meantime is we can go to Underdog Fantasy and we can hop in one of the lower buy-in tournaments as we wait for that $500 draft to fill. So what we'll probably be hopping in is we can probably go ahead and just get in Best Ball Mania. This is the largest tournament on the planet. $25 buy-in, $2 million to first place, $15 million prize pool. And let's go ahead and get in this bad boy now. So while we have been lucky enough to win that $500 draft tournament on Underdog before, sadly, Best Ball Mania, the highest I've ever finished is 16th place. But we get the 5 slot. Honestly, the 5 slot may be better than the 6 hole now with the Jefferson injury. Because I don't necessarily know if you can consider Jefferson in that same tier as somebody like CeeDee Lamb. If you look at our rankings, which I'll show you in just 1 second, we actually did decide to move Justin Jefferson to his own tier. So let me go ahead, move this over. If you pull up FlockFantasy.com, look at the 2025 rankings, sort by my rankings, you will see that I've moved Jefferson down to 6, and we have CeeDee Lamb as the tier break here with the top 5 players. And actually, we put out an updated rankings list on the channel today as well, if you didn't get a chance to see it. But thank you for everybody hanging out with us. I know that people are upset we didn't really get to see the big Q today, but it is what it is. And we did not get any Trey Lance pick'ems in on Underdog, but you know, I like to see our guy out there. But let's see. CeeDee Lamb goes off the board at 2, so this will probably lock us into a running back at 5. In reality, it is going to lock us into a running back at 5, kind of regardless, right? Zach says, what would happen if the top 2 teams had the exact same players and tied in the final Best Ball Mania? Do they split the money? Yes, that is what would happen, but I would really say that the mathematical odds that you have the same exact team as somebody else in the Best Ball Mania final, with how many variables there are throughout an entire draft, it's never happened before, and I'd be very surprised if it ever happened. So I don't think that's what you have to worry about. And again, I will point this out. I know people get annoyed because 99% of y'all already drafted on Underdog, but there are occasionally new people, especially in August, that may not fully understand this. This is Best Ball. We'll get in a regular redraft mock draft at the end of the stream after the $500 draft. But there are differences here. This is a league where we're going to go up against 11 other people for the regular season. The top 2 highest scoring teams will advance to the fantasy football playoffs. Where in week 15, you'll go up against 12 people if you're the highest scoring team. In week 16, you'll go up against 15 people if you're the highest scoring team. You'll go into a week 17 final against 538 other people. And if you're the highest scoring team, you turn $25 into $2 million. Second highest scoring team, $25 into $1 million. Third highest scoring team, $25 into $500,000. Fourth, $400,000, all the way down the line. The highest I've ever finished in this tournament is 16th place. And I've only had 2 teams ever get to the Best Ball Mania finals. It is an extremely difficult thing to do. But yes, we have to talk about Terry McLaurin's trade as well. But I literally put in the video that we posted today. I recorded that video yesterday saying oh, Terry McLaurin's holding out. But in reality, I don't necessarily expect that Terry McLaurin's going to be somebody that moves the needle. I mean, it's not, sorry, that doesn't move the needle. Poor choice of words. I don't expect Terry McLaurin to get traded because I think realistically, Jaden Daniels on a rookie contract. If a team's going to be able to pay their star wide receiver, it'd probably be the Washington Commanders. Now, with that being said, yeah, the reports from Shefty says that Terry McLaurin also requested a trade. And if you look at the dog profile, the infamous dog profile on Twitter that always tweets out leaks, say, just got a text. All I can say is, wow, stay tuned. Now, he was wrong about the Brandon Ayuk stuff last year, but he's been right about a lot of other things. We're going to take Ladd McConkey after taking Barkley in round 1. It's going to be an easy call. So, it's a real shot Terry McLaurin ends up getting dealt out of Washington at this point. Now, if I was a betting man, I'd say most likely he is going to be a Washington Commander this season, but by no means is that a guarantee. Like, I mean, a team that would be perfect for Terry McLaurin, and it would just be a perfect fit overall, would be if he got sent to New England. Like, I think that would be the absolute best case scenario. Oh, let's see. We have Tyreek goes pick 23, T. Higgins off 24. We actually may get something interesting falling. You did see Chase Brown go all the way on the other side of the board at pick 13 in this draft. Don't hate it. It's definitely a unique start. And then here, I'm sure y'all have seen me do this a decent amount of times as of late, but what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to pass on the wide receivers here with Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams in favor of us grabbing the elite quarterback in Josh Allen. And one other thing with this, I know we already described how you can turn 25 into 2 million in this tournament. Another reason why I'm able to do so many of these drafts is because you're not submitting your starting lineup weekly. That's automatically done for you at the end of every single week. And at the same time, there's no waiver wire. Your rosters are locked after you draft them. So that's how I'm able to draft so many teams. It's not going to replace your main fantasy football league, full transparency, but I love drafting. I want to get some extra money down. I don't have time to manage 500 fantasy football teams during the season. So best ball is the best thing for that. And I always do leave the link to draft on Underdog Fantasy with us in the description, comment section, live chat. We put that link absolutely everywhere. And if you use promo code FLOCK, you will get our 2025 fantasy football rankings and draft guide cheat sheets, which we just added the super flex to those. So now there are officially 50 draft guide cheat sheets that you'll get. Just look at the directory. You only need to use one. Use your exact league settings. And that will get emailed to the email address you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with. If you wanted to draft on Underdog, here's the map of the states that Underdog is available in. Look at the yellow states. It's pretty much all of them. But let's see Terry McLaurin and Jaden Daniels here go at pick 36 and 37. So this team at 12 is still pricing in that you do have Terry in Washington, and that stack is going to be a viable option. This is a good point. I mean, I wonder if the Chargers went ahead and offered Quentin Johnston for Terry McLaurin, how close that deal would be and what Washington would have to add to their side to get it done. Okay. Ivan says, how long is the promo code FLOCK price good for? I don't know if you're referring to, I'm assuming you're not referring to Underdog. Underdog, you can use promo code FLOCK at any point up until the start of the NFL season, and you'll get our 2025 draft sheets emailed to you. You just have to make a $10 deposit on Underdog. The way you worded that, I'm assuming that you actually meant, we'll take DJ Moore. DJ Moore has been a massive faller as of late. People are very concerned that Rome Odunze is just going to be the straight up wide receiver one in Chicago. But if you're talking about the Flock promo for FlockFantasy.com, I know we mentioned that this is going to be the cheapest that ever is, and I definitely stand by that. You're never going to get a season pass for cheaper than $34. The concern that we had and why I said we don't know if we're going to be able to do this till the start of the season is, frankly, I didn't know how many of y'all were going to get it and if it was going to be profitable, because it costs a lot of money to run what we do on the site if y'all haven't been able to tell with everything that we put out as of late. So I was concerned how many people are going to get it, and it looks like enough people are getting it where we're completely fine. So I think the $34 season pass for FlockFantasy.com, we're going to offer that all the way up until the season starts. So don't worry about it. Like, if you're not able to get the season pass for another week or so, it should be there. But Calvin Ridley goes 51. I'm hoping that we get a wide receiver that we like here, which we actually do get DK Metcalf, which is natural spot to play catch up a wide receiver when we go Saquon Barkley, and then we take Josh Allen in the third, right? So we definitely need more wide receivers other than just Ladd McConkey for best ball. So I like it. Jordan says, picked up the season pass, great value. Thank you, Mason. Thank you. I really hope you enjoy it. And yeah, like I said, I know we didn't post as many Dynasty videos this offseason, which I apologize for, but definitely over the past year, like my day-to-days changed a lot where I can't just make videos all day. And the majority of my times we're meeting with the devs and working on FlockFantasy.com. So apologize that we don't get as many Dynasty videos posted as we used to. And I know we didn't really get as many redraft videos back in like May and June. But I've been working for years, and especially this year, we've been working so damn hard on the site. And hopefully y'all like the season pass, which another reason we're doing the $500 draft tonight to celebrate is a lot of y'all bought it. Way more people have bought the season pass than I was expecting through the first 2 days. Like the first day we launched it, which was the expectation that more people were going to buy that membership than like we've ever seen membership sold on the site. Obviously you offer it cheaper than it's ever been. The most are going to sell, but usually it would be $100, right? So it being 34, I didn't know if like double the amount of people were going to buy it, which in reality we'd still be losing money on it. We needed at least 3 times the amount of people to purchase it, and more than 3 times y'all have. So I think like the site made more money yesterday than it's ever made in a day, which is awesome. So I definitely think we can offer the $34 season pass up until the season starts. I'm not a big Caleb Johnson guy. I just don't see the receiving path. So we're going to take DeAndre Swift instead. We'll pair him up with DJ Moore and make the consolidated bet on the Chicago Bears offense. And then also if you get the season pass, I know like obviously you have access to all the site stuff throughout the entire year, which I'm sure y'all have already checked out. But one thing that's maybe not relevant for you right now, just as a reminder, make sure you take advantage of it when it is there. Y'all are also going to get a couple free start set question vouchers and trade question vouchers. If you use promo code FLOCK to get the season pass, I will be the one to answer them. So if you ever have like a start sit decision during the season, or if you ever have like a trade question during the year that you need answered, you should be able to send it to me on the site for free if you got the season pass. So if you use a different promo code, somebody else would answer it. But if you use promo code FLOCK, I'll be the person to answer that, and I will do so in a live stream. So Dave Montgomery off 74, Khalil Shakir goes 75. Shakir obviously would have been exciting for us if we were able to get him with Josh Allen. So let's move this down. I know Jaden Reed's been a big-time riser. The FSE guys were hyping him up on their live stream or their video today. I'm going to take Matthew Golden as our wide receiver 4. In a regular redraft league, like if you pull up our draft sheets, like this will be super funny to see because obviously there's an absolute massive difference with where you should be drafting these players in redraft versus where you should be drafting these players in best ball. Positionally, that is. So if you go over and you look at the 2025 Flock draft sheets, it almost doesn't matter what league settings or what league that you're in. But like I said, we did just add the Superflex stuff to this. But let me pull up a sheet for y'all here. This is going to be the, well, look, this is going to be the ESPN 10-team PPR start 8. If we're looking at Laporta's like 61 with his big board rank. And then you have, dear God, where is Matthew Golden? I don't even know. I'm going to have to hit Control F here to find Golden. Golden's down at 84 with his big board rank for your regular redraft league. So definitely you do not need to be pushing up the wide receivers to this cost in rounds like 6 and 7. And I would go ahead and I'd take Sam Laporta if you're drafting in just like a regular ESPN redraft league, which we'll do a regular mock draft on FlockFantasy.com at the end of this. So you can get a better sense of that. Where in that draft, I will take Laporta over Matthew Golden. Michael says, I have multiple teams across a few of my email accounts. Can I swap out what teams I get reviewed? So are you talking about, so on the My Teams page on FlockFantasy.com, you should be able to link as many teams as you possibly want. If you're like having to log into a specific like Yahoo account and link all your leagues for that Yahoo account, you're saying like, hey, I have a different team with this Yahoo account versus this Yahoo account, then to be honest with you, I'll have to talk to the developers about that. I frankly don't know. I don't know if you'd have to log in and log out on our site or if we could pull them all at once. We'll take TJ Hawkinson here at pick 92. I think that Joe Mixon is honestly very appealing at this cost. The thing with Hawkinson is, one, he falls past ADP. We don't have a tight end. And two, I think this is a player that realistically could be rising with the Addison suspension as well as the Jefferson hamstring. So we'll just go ahead and we'll take TJ Hawkinson. Ideal says, I joined Underdog with code FLOCK last year, maybe not deposited. Is there something I need to do this year to get the sheets? I'm very sorry. It's the Underdog offer in terms of like deposit $10 on Underdog Fantasy with code FLOCK. It gets you the sheets that year, but it doesn't get you the sheets every year going into the future. So you should be able to, you could take advantage of the season pass, but in regards of the Underdog offer, that is a one-time thing, which I am sorry about. Okay, let's move this down. So Joe Mixon does end up going. I for sure would have taken Joe Mixon if he would have made it back to us. So I'm going to be boring here, and I'm going to take Keon Coleman to stack with Josh Allen. And a bunch of quarterbacks are going here. You have May, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, Justin Fields, the 4 picks right before us. I mean, obviously, we're sitting with Josh Allen, so we're only needing one more quarterback in this draft, and we're chilling. And it looks like the $500 draft only has 4 spots open in it at the moment. So the $500 draft should fill relatively quickly. So now quarterback, we have Josh Allen stacked with Keon Coleman. Running back, we have Saquon Barkley and DeAndre Swift. Wide receiver, we have Ladd McConkey, DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden, and Keon Coleman. So I like the team. Mike says he just took Joe Mixon at pick 94. He usually takes him after pick 90. Well, yeah, so we passed on Mixon at 92 in favor of TJ Hawkinson, and Mixon made it down to 95, which I think Mixon at this cost is an absolute smash. But again, I think Hawkinson looks very appealing as well, where he was already a decent price tag and he was already exciting for where he was going. And then you sprinkle on the fact that you get the Justin Jefferson hamstring injury and it becomes even more exciting. Okay. As Sam says, Mr. Mason, is there a difference? Is there ever a good time to take Josh Allen and Lamar? Only in a Superflex league. You'd never do it in an Underdog draft. You'd never do it in a regular redraft league. Only in a Superflex league. Ben says, should you care about ADP in a redraft league or just follow your own personal rankings? So if you pull up the draft sheets that I have created, I mean, obviously I have like all my rankings, which you could just access the rankings, but I think the reason why the draft sheets are actually a little bit better for your specific draft and coming away with a strong team is, again, if you go back to that like specific draft sheet that we have here for like an ESPN 10 team PPR start 8 league, you'll see that we have a consensus ADP. This brings in the ADP from Underdog, Yahoo, ESPN, Sleeper. So you get a consensus ADP, then we put the ESPN ADP, then we put my personal rankings, and then we average that all out into a power ranking on the left-hand side, and that's what we're sorting that sheet by for your big board. For an example, like Josh Downs has an ADP of like 140 on ESPN. However, I have Josh Downs up at like 88 in my rankings. Do I want you taking Josh Downs at pick 88 if he has an ADP of 140? Probably not. I definitely want you taking Josh Downs, but I would rather average it out considering ADP, and you get Josh Downs a round or two before he goes normally. So you make sure that you get him, but you're not having to reach 60 picks on him just because I have Josh Downs pick 88 and his ADP is 140. So with those sheets, like definitely take into account the platform that you're drafting on, because every platform is going to have a different ADP when they really shouldn't. Like, that's why we also have the consensus ADP there as well. So we're going to go Charbonnet here at 116. You could definitely make an argument to go like Tyler Warren, David Njoku, and then stop drafting tight ends. So Loveland goes 118. Loveland, our most drafted Chicago Bear, getting a ton of positive buzz coming out of Chicago and should be a big riser. And, oh, I completely forgot to mention another big piece of news that we had here. This is completely irrelevant for your regular redraft league. All it does for your regular redraft league is make it where Like, if you were planning on ever streaming Mike Gesicki, you can no longer do that. But this does make a difference for your actual best ball drafts. Because in round 16, round 17, round 18, Mike Gesicki was always getting drafted. And now Noah Fant going to Cincinnati. Don't draft Noah Fant. But at the same time, I think we take David Njoku here. Give me a second. Yeah, we take Njoku. And then we're going to be done drafting 2 tight ends. Do not go and draft Noah Fant, but at the same time, this means you probably shouldn't be drafting Mike Gesicki. Okay, and there are only 2 spots open in that $500 draft at the moment, so looking like that is going to fill and be our next draft after this one. Okay, so Dylan Sampson goes immediately after 126. Obviously a massive riser with the Judkins situation. Because I like our team a lot. And I know we flexed on y'all where Nick Chubb was my most invested into running back from an entry fees perspective before the Joe Mixon official report. And let me flex on y'all with the Mike Gesicki situation. Now, am I going to sit here and go like, oh, I knew Noah Fant was going to sign with Cincinnati? No. You want to see something cool? Mike Gesicki, 3.2% of my drafts. Your boys faded Mike Gesicki so far, and it is paying off handsomely. Okay. Michael Penix goes 138. So you have a bunch of quarterbacks off the board. Again, we definitely need another quarterback. This is best ball, but we have Josh Allen. So this does give us a lot of flexibility. 7 Head says, Fant signing is good for Mike Gesicki. So here's what we call this, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize to make an example of you like this, 7 Head. It is very rude of me, and but it has to be done. This is what we call copium. There is no logic behind it. It makes no sense whatsoever. But you probably have a decent amount of money invested into Mike Gesicki, and you will do any type of mental gymnastics to make it seem like it's not going to matter too much. Now, we are going to take whatever player makes it to us here at 140. I just pulled up this draft on my phone because we have to switch over to the $500 draft real quick. We'll take Ray Davis. Ray Davis is a massive faller right now, going to continue to slide past ADP, but we're built around a Buffalo. There's no wide receiver here that's massive value for us. So we will take Ray Davis, and let's move this over to a $500 draft, ladies and gentlemen. We in here, we up, and we at pick 5, and we're going to be taking Saquon Barkley ahead of Justin Jefferson. I think we had a $500 draft about a week ago where we got Justin Jefferson at pick 6, and I thought it was a crazy good value. Well, I am learning at this point that, yeah, probably should see Justin Jefferson go off the board at pick 6, and realistically, it probably makes a lot more sense for us to just go ahead and take a Saquon Barkley. Mark says, when are the flock drafts on Underdog? So I asked for them to put the flock drafts on Underdog, I think Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. I need to look at my DMs. But we're going to take a look at the other draft, heads up. But they're going to be 3 times a week, and they start in August. So possibly we have a flock fantasy tournament dropping on Underdog tomorrow. We will see. I'll shoot a DM and see when they're dropping in August. But if it's not tomorrow, it's going to be like the next day or the day after. Something like that. But very, very, very soon. Okay. Travis Snow says, Husky after this or FlockFantasy.com draft. We may get, well, we'll see. We'll see what y'all want. Especially because the other draft got cut short. So we may end up drafting 4 teams tonight. As we get closer to the season, especially as I get closer to the Flock League draft, and I'm just really needing to get the practice in, the more streams I think we're going to have where we go 4 or 5 drafts rather than just 3. Okay. Nico Puganakua off at 10 and 11. Haven't been too many big surprises in this draft so far. Justin says, if you're between Gibbs and Lamb, who do you take? So if you pull up the draft sheets, you'll see that it depends on your league settings. In general, if I just had to guess for most league settings, though, that are redraft leagues, I have Jahmyr Gibbs ahead of CeeDee Lamb. Underdog best ball, wide receiver is a little bit tougher to come by, so I wouldn't fault you as much if you wanted to take the receiver. Okay. Devon Achane off the board at 15. A.J. Brown goes 16. Yeah, so this has been a super standard draft. Like, you haven't seen anything really crazy happen. This is how most $500 drafts look. There are a bunch of people in here with no badges. Okay, Jonathan Taylor goes 18. In my opinion, if Anthony Richardson is truly the starter for JT, I'm actually less excited about Jonathan Taylor than I otherwise would be. I'll take Ladd plan A, Brock Bowers plan B. I think Brock Bowers is definitely the end of this tier. Now, with that being said, I would probably rather have Bowers straight up over Ladd, but we didn't take a wide receiver in round 1. We took Barkley instead. So I don't want to fall too far behind at wide receiver, and I would rather keep some type of flexibility here. So if we get the option for Ladd, we'll take him. If not, we're going to go Bowers. Ladd off at 19. That means we are going to take Brock Bowers at pick 20. And this is going to put us in an awkward spot. I think we've had a couple teams where we've started Saquon Barkley and Brock Bowers so far this year. And we are all of a sudden going to need to do the classic play catch up at wide receiver. So we'll run with it. And you'll see also, if you go to a lot of the draft sheets that we have posted for your redraft leagues, that I have Brock Bowers ranked a lot higher than this in a lot of those settings. And I have Brock Bowers in like a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league up at 15 in your redraft league. Inside the same tier with all these other top names. But best ball, tight end values are easy to come by late. So you do need to put a slight discount on Bowers, especially because we need to be pushing wide receivers up. So G Play says he actually ran better analytically wise with Anthony Richardson last season. See, that's true. Kyren Williams goes off 26. So that team at 2 actually going with 0 wide receivers through the first 3 rounds. You have Bijan, Chase Brown, Kyren for them. Maureen Hampton goes 28. God dang. Y'all know when we called Hampton. Oh, we're just going to have to play catch up a wide receiver. What I actually like about Marvin Harrison here is because this team took Trey McBride at 25, we are going to box them out in round 8 for Kyler Murray. So it should be very easy for us to be able to pair up Harrison with Kyler. Overall, I'm underweight Marvin Harrison Jr. You'll know I do like taking the elite quarterback here in round 3 quite often. We reached on Josh Allen in the last draft, but the difficulty with it being a running back wide receiver start, putting us behind the 8 ball at wide receiver, we're just going to play it safe with Harrison. Okay. JSN goes 33. And I realized I forgot to send the link. I apologize. I will try not to just continue to hit you with ads, but I forgot to send the link to get the 2025 season pass. If anybody wanted to get the 2025 season pass, you could always just type in flockfantasy.com. And when you set up an account, use promo code FLOCK. But I also dropped the link in the live chat there where it says 2025 season pass. And Eric says, when is the OF dropping? The OF has already dropped for everybody who has the season pass. And so there are 2 teams in this draft with no receivers through the first 3 rounds, which is going to be interesting to monitor both teams 2 and 7. I mean, they're even a further extreme than we are in terms of having to play catch up at wide receiver. Rabona says, what did he think of Tesla tonight? I know a lot of people are excited about Isaac Tesla. Can make a difference in best ball in your regular redraft league. Probably won't. Okay, thank God we get Michael Wilson around 16 in the other draft. We needed it. Let's see. Where's Terry McLaurin going to go in this one? Sevenhead says, Mason, you were right. It was Cope. Read me like a book. I'm sorry to put you on blast like that. I know that was not too kind of me, my friend. But I'm an idiot and I say dumb things and get things wrong all the time. However, one thing that I do know, and I'm confident with, a team at 7 getting Terry there is really nice. Daniels goes as well. Did we just freaking DJ Moore? I know everybody's penciling in Rome to be the guy. Blah, blah, blah. Did we reach and go get a player that we prefer? No, because he can come make it back to us in the 5th. I think DJ Moore is the only wide receiver that won't make it back to us in the 5th here. So we'll take DJ Moore at pick 44. Yeah, I don't know if we finish that. Maxwell says, hey, Mason, do you have a time frame for when the draft guides will be emailed to people who use code FLOCK with Underdog? I think we're going to send the updated draft guides every Friday morning. So tomorrow morning, you should be getting that email. I finished the Superflex sheets tonight and added those in. And I think we'll get y'all the... Sorry, I'm on the clock in the other draft. And we'll get y'all the email sent out tomorrow morning. I definitely want to do it tomorrow because I did read in the comment section earlier today somebody saying that their draft was this weekend, which I was like, that's pretty early to have your draft, but regardless. Said draft guide was going to be out by August 1st, so it's August 1st tomorrow. Let's get it out. Seahawks fan says, when will the updates come to those? We're going to try to probably update them every Friday because I'd imagine the majority of people are going to have their drafts on the weekend. So I'm going to try to, realistically, it takes so much time for me to work on those. It's impossible for me to do it every day. Like I can update my rankings on the site every day because that's very quick. But like updating all the ADP crap is much tougher. We're just going to continue to play catch up at receiver. I think we're going to take Calvin Ridley here. So I'm only going to be able to update it once a week, and once a week's already going to make my schedule hell. But we'll do it on Friday because if we're doing it once a week, we want the most updated version closest to your draft. I would imagine the majority of y'all are drafting on the weekend, so I'll probably be the best time to do it. As I think last year we updated it and sent that email out. Our goal was like every Sunday or every Monday, which in reality, looking back on it, that makes absolutely no sense. I know Kenneth Walker's definitely the best player on the board at that point. And if it was a redraft league, I'm taking Kenneth Walker. I don't even need to pull up the draft sheets. I can just pull up my rankings on the site. And you can see I have Kenneth Walker for sure ranked well ahead of Calvin Ridley. For your regular redraft league, I have Kenneth Walker ranked ahead of DJ Moore. And we took DJ Moore at 44 and passed on Kenneth Walker at 53. But the issue is, again, we don't really have an option. We go Barkley, Bowers in the first 2 rounds. Our wide receiver room's so weak that we're just playing catch up at wide receiver. So Rome goes 61. I know a lot of people are penciling in Rome to be the wide receiver 1 in Chicago now. RJ Harvey, Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon at 64. Is that team on auto? That is... Joe Mixon went at like pick 95 in the Best Ball Mania draft we were just in. They take Joe Mixon 8 picks at ADP. Maybe there was a blurb that came out about Mixon that I didn't see over the last 5 minutes. DeAndre Swift goes 66. We took DeAndre Swift in the last draft. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take Deebo Samuel here. I think the most likely outcome with Terry McLaurin trade is it doesn't happen and Terry McLaurin just gets a slight payday. But on the off chance... hell, Debo's getting to work with Daniels at the moment too. Juwan Jennings is dealing with the calf injury. We want wide receivers and good offenses. I'm trying to play catch up at wide receiver. So we'll go ahead and we will take Deebo Samuel. Let me move this over. B. Tom says, hey, Mason, if we bought the season pass, do the vouchers for trades and start set questions show up immediately in our account, or do they come later? Appreciate you in the Flock team. They should show up immediately in your account. I'd assume that you don't need to ask start set questions right now. Maybe you already drafted a team and you have a trade on the table. But just in case, the free start set questions and trade questions should be immediately in your account if you got the season pass. Pacheco goes 75. So Caleb Johnson, he had the negative report coming out regarding his pass blocking. I think by the time we are on the clock again, we are going to see a teardrop at running back, however. I will show you all my exposures. I believe I'm underweight Caleb Johnson. I will double check that and let you see just in case I'm lying. But we'll take the value fall. We don't have another running back. We prioritize playing catch-up at wide receiver as of late. I'm slightly underweight Caleb Johnson. I'm at 7.8%. So, not really. I'm kind of right in line with the market, slightly underweight, especially after this draft. We'll be right in line with the market since it's a $500 one. What says Terry just signed with the Giants? I would imagine if that happened, I'd see 1,000 messages in the chat about it, my friend. That team at 8 going 0 running backs through the first 7 rounds. So, going back to me fully admitting I'm an idiot. I get things wrong all the time. I want to go out on a limb. I want to put myself out there. Maybe have a hot take. That drafting 0 running backs through the first 7 rounds, probably not ideal. With a build like this, maybe it would have made sense to go Alvin Kamara instead of Zay Flowers. Okay, Caden says, what happened to the Flock Fantasy Dynasty rankings on the website? You just got to change your format. There's the 2025 ranks, and then there's the Dynasty Superflex and Dynasty 1 quarterback. Just hit the format button and change them. Patrick Mahomes goes 88. See, this team is now going to need to play catch-up at running back. They take Jalen Warren as their RB1 at pick 89. Pond says you're not watching the preseason game. I'll watch the beginning of it, my friend. So we had the report coming out saying that Jordan Mason was going to split this backfield with Aaron Jones, but I'm going to pass on him in favor of grabbing Kyler Murray as our QB1, pairing him up with Marvin Harrison. The team that has Trey McBride does select Jalen Hurts. So there's a chance that they would pass on Kyler, and there's a chance that we get Kyler on the way back. And for that reason, if we had like a massive faller where I'd be very excited to take like Aaron Jones or Brian Robinson there at 92, I probably would take him. But I'm not going to be that excited about taking Jordan Mason instead. Logan says Lance is cooking. Is Lance still in? Lance playing the entire game. Not running the ball much. Okay. Cam Scatterby goes 97. Okay. Andrews goes 98. Andrews should be a big-time riser given the likely injury. That goes 99. We're going to take Darnell Mooney. I mean, obviously, Darnell Mooney, a big-time faller given the shoulder injury. But at the same time, I think we are about to hit that teardrop at wide receiver. I don't want to say we're still playing catchable wide receiver, but in best ball, Darnell Mooney's a fine play where I think we get some usable weeks. And your regular redraft league, Darnell Mooney would be an absolute crap pick, because when are you going to be able to trust to start the guy? Unless it's a deeper format. Justin Fields goes 106. Z Miller says, the next Superflex puppy Lance is going in every draft. Maybe I have to get a little celebratory Trey Lance bump in the dynasty rankings. Shaheed goes 107. And just to make sure everybody knows, these are all jokes. Trey Lance is nothing. I thought he was going to be something when he went 3 overall and had the rushing upside and stepped into the best situation in football with the Niners. But instead, Mr. Relevant came on and changed history. So it was a sad, sad chapter in our life. Look back on it quite fondly, to be honest. And oh my gosh, wasted opportunity. At a meetup, somebody came out and gave me a custom cup that they made of Trey Lance and me. And it's been on my desk for like 2 weeks, but we just replaced it. That would have been the perfect cup to have. And speaking of the meetup, of course, we are having one in about 2 weeks in Austin, Texas. Completely free. Just show up. Revelry Kitchen Bar. All the details on the screen. Everybody in the Flock League is going to be there. Hope that you're there as well. Okay. Jordan Love goes 110. Travis Kelce goes 111. Great Kelce pick. I thought Kelce was going to rise more in ADP once you add the... Ooh, we're going to be in a good spot here, 116. Once you had the Rashee Rice news that he's going to serve that suspension, I thought Kelce was going to be a mover upwards. Jake Ferguson goes 114. Judkins goes 115. Take May, and maybe we get Terry to New England. I think Tyler Warren's the best value on the board. The issue is we have Brock Bowers. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Zach Charbonnet. I think this is back-to-back drafts we've had Sharp. Let me see how much of him I've drafted. We got Zach saying he's officially drafting Trey Lance round 3 in the Flock League. Would be a good bit. And my guy, I just ordered us a limo for the Flock League draft. So should be pretty exciting. And should make for a good entrance for the draft. Will be fun. Okay, CJ Stroud goes 121. Gosh, this dog is spazzing. You want to see her? All up in my grill. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? I know. She thinks somebody's outside. And she's going, Mason, go look. Go look. Someone's out there. It's okay. We're going to take Luther Burden. I know all the Chicago buzz has been centered around Loveland and Romadunze. I know those are the players that people are excited about. We weren't drafting Luther Burden very early. When tournaments dropped back in April and May, he was a lot more expensive than he is now. But maybe since Zach is in the live stream at the moment, this is a sign to go get his guy and go get Luther Burden. Okay. Michael says, how long is the $34 deal, and is that the mother flocker? The $34 deal lasts until January 1st. You can see the details on the screen here. And it's not the same as an annual mother flocker, because the annual mother flocker will get you a free team review, and it will give you access for 12 months all the way until It'll give you access for 365 days, right? Where this is giving you access until January 1st, and you don't get the team review the way that you would for an annual Mother Flocker. So how I would break it down is I'd highly recommend the annual Mother Flocker if you're a diehard Dynasty player and you're going to use the website year round, because obviously we have a lot of Dynasty stuff on there. But if you don't play Dynasty and you only care about fantasy football from like August to January, the $34 deal is for you. Okay. Kyle Williams goes pick 132. Let's move this over. So quarterback's going to be interesting for us. Given the fact we're only sitting with Kyler, and at the very earliest, our next quarterback we can take is going to be in round 12. I'd imagine we walk away with 3 quarterbacks with this team. But right now we have Kyler Murray stacked up with Marvin Harrison Jr. Running back, we have Saquon Barkley, Caleb Johnson, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, we have Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney, and Luther Burden. So mid running back room, mid quarterback room, mid wide receiver room, and we have the elite tight end of Brock Bowers. Okay, Michael says, sweet. Thank you for answering my question as well. I've been a Mother Flocker for years. Love my flock hat. Well, super happy to hear that. And I really don't want you, if you already are an annual Mother Flocker on the site, don't waste the $34 on getting the season pass. You're not going to get anything extra. You'll get like a couple of free start sit questions and a couple of free trade questions. But in terms of like site access to stuff, it's not anything that you don't have already. Do we just take, we're just going to take Byshell Tootin. Tootin's been a massive faller with a hamstring, while at the same time you have the Tank Bigsby positive buzz coming out of Jacksonville. But again, y'all go back and you look at the early videos we were putting out this offseason. Tank Bigsby was one of our 5 least drafted running backs, similar to how Luther Burden was in that video for our 5 least drafted wide receivers. So here we can just balance out our portfolio, buy the dip, get a much more appealing cost on Byshell Tootin and pick 140 where he used to go ahead of Travis Etienne. Okay. Zach says, I'm so nervous I'm going to draft someone that gets injured preseason in the Flock League. We're drafting so early. I would be nervous about that, but I spent the offseason significantly investing into my training staff. So with the investments I've made, I know my players are going to be able to stay healthy, and I'm really thinking I'm going to get an edge over y'all for that reason, to be honest. So Jerome Ford off the board at 145. Quarterback like Tua is the next player according to ADP, but realistically we have no Miami Dolphins. I was really hoping that we were going to get Michael Penix in round 12 so we can pair him up with Darnell Mooney. Ben says, what's the logic in balancing a portfolio? If we assume your takes are above average, doesn't that hurt you? So it's hurt me and it's helped me in the past. So the year that we won $150,000 on Underdog, got 16th place in Best Ball Mania, won multiple tournaments, had better advance rates than you could ever imagine. That year it hurt us because like our 3 most drafted players were the 3 biggest league winners you could possibly find. And we cap all our player exposures at 20%. So in a season like that, yeah, it's painful and it hurts, where we still have all the upside where we can still take down tournaments and we can still make a ton of money. But maybe we could have done better if I just said, F it, who cares? Let me get Josh Jacobs in 50% of my drafts. Let me get Kenneth Walker in 40%. Let me get Mahomes in 40%. However, I'm smart enough to know I'm an idiot. And I also get things wrong all the time. Where you go back 2 years ago, very early in the offseason, I was taking a ton of Trey Lance. Shout out our dude playing right now. Now, yes, it was a round 16 pick, so it didn't matter as much. But nonetheless, I was taking a lot of them. But I capped myself at 20%. I thought he was the best pick on the board. In reality, he was a complete zero. So I like balancing my exposures because I know I'm going to get things wrong all the time. And if I can like fade Byshell Tootin when he's going before Travis Etienne early in the offseason, and then balance my exposures by taking him when he's going 5 rounds later. Maybe this is the wrong way to view it, and maybe the math doesn't back it up, but in a monkey brain, I view it as I just locked in a profit, if that makes sense. So I'm not that opposed to balancing things out. And we cannot take another tight end. We have Brock Bowers and Dalton Kincaid at this point. We are quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to reach on Sam Darnold, and we are going to have Darnold unstacked, hopefully just for the advancement. This is a smaller field contest, so in reality, you don't necessarily need to have every one of your quarterbacks stacked up. While it would be preferred, it's not the end of the world one way or another. Okay. John says, you the man, enjoy the mother flocker. Website, 3rd year being an annual member. Well, that is super nice of you, my friend. And hopefully, if you've been on the site for 3 years, you know it's a completely different now than it was back. Much, much better now than it was 3 years ago. And with a couple of the updates the devs are about to push very soon, hopefully during this live stream, we're about to get a massive update to the drafts on FlockFantasy.com. And then we're about to have a big update to the My Teams page in a couple weeks and the rankings page in about a week. You should, if you've been with us for 3 years, you know it's 10,000 times better than it used to be. Okay, Jalen Wright goes 169. Sir Alexander says, Mason, your quarterbacks have the same bye. I'm not worried about it because I'm taking a 3rd, and that's why I reached on Sam Darnold, because I was going to take a quarterback. Oh, God dang it. Oh, that's absolutely brutal. Who are the quarterbacks left? Rodgers is the only starter, so I'm going to reach on Rodgers. Best Ball Mania, I'm not doing it, but in a tournament like this, just let me raise my median projection by having the extra quarterback. I was specifically planning on reaching on Anthony Richardson in round 15. So I went, if Sam Darnold and Anthony Richardson typically go in the middle of round 15 to the late round 15, and I'm going to get both players. I need both players anyway. Let's take Sam Darnold 12 picks before ADP, and then we'll take Anthony Richardson 6 picks before. So, brutal to see us get sniped on Anthony Richardson there. Maybe it saves us. We're just kind of needing the Aaron Rodgers points to get us through the season and hopefully advance to weeks 15 through 17. We have Philip Rivers in the chat. Seahawks fan says, just welcomed my 16th kid in the world. Okay. Let me dissect this. 1, if you're being serious, congrats. You're living my dream. 2, also being serious. You hang out in these live streams way too often to have 16 kids. If you're being serious right now, here's what I'm going to need you to do. Unsubscribe from the channel. I can't have a conscience. I can't go to sleep tonight if I know that there are 15 children of yours over the past few years that have been, God knows what, put in another room as you've been commenting in this live stream. So it's been good knowing you. I really appreciate the support over the years. But for the sake of your children, I think this is our goodbye. So congrats on number 16. Like I said, I am very jealous. And you won life. I go live it. We're going to take Michael Wilson here. I like Michael Wilson. I think he's going to be in 2 wide receiver sets. We have Kyler Murray. We need a wide receiver. It's an auto pick for us. Okay. Large Junk Bob says, I can't stand my friend's girlfriend. Can I invite her to the meetup, and can you steal her? So I would normally say yes, but we've had to have a strict rule this year. It's been annoying in years. It's not annoying. I don't want to get canceled or anything, but it's been bad in years past where we've only had girls show up to the meetup. and guys haven't been able to get in the building. So this year we are trying to make it where the first 100 people in the door are guys. So as long as she knows that she may be standing in a long line outside, could be, she can come, but she's probably going to have to wait outside for a while with the other ladies. Now, Darius Slayton goes 193. And, dear God, this team's buns. I'm sorry. I'll admit it. I'm man enough to admit it. I don't want to say lit $500 on fire, but this ain't looking good. We'll take DJ Giddens, and we'll send up a prayer that this is the best rookie running back class we've seen since 2017. This is. Quarterback, we are sitting with Kyler, Darnold, Rodgers. We have Kyler double stacked with Harrison and Michael Wilson. We have no Darnold Rodgers stacks. Tight end, we have Brock Bowers, Dalton Kincaid. Pretty exciting. Obviously very exciting. But running back, we have Barkley, Caleb Johnson, Zach Charbonnet, Byshell, Tootin, DJ Giddens. Wide receiver, Marvin Harrison, DJ Moore, Calvin Ridley, Deebo Samuel, Darnell Mooney, Luther Burden, Michael Wilson, and whatever bum wide receiver we take in round 18. So, not the best team, but what do you want from me? I'm trying my best. Trying my best. All right. And yes, we need a wide receiver to save this team. Yes, I agree. It says it's not terrible. I agree. It's not terrible, but it's not great. What we really need is we need a rookie breakout. Whether it's Tootin, Giddens, or Caleb Johnson. Giddens would take an injury. Yoshi Vosh goes 209. We're going to take Roman Wilson, get him paired up with Rodgers. We have Caleb Johnson. Maybe this is the what if the Pittsburgh Steelers are a good offense this year team. And Roman Wilson, again, somebody you'd never take in your regular redraft league, but best ball. I wasted a bunch of round 18 picks on him last year. Might as well waste a bunch of round 18 picks on him this year. I will say, last year, we did at least nail Tank Bigsby in round 18, which was nice to see. Let me see if the devs have an update so far with the... let's move this over. Sorry. Okay. Let's pull this back. What do we want to do here? It's 9:21. Spam the chat. Do you want a draft on the site or do you want another Underdog draft? Do you want a redraft mock draft or do you want an Underdog draft? I'm actually not even going to listen to y'all. It's 9:21. I will show y'all the proof of how early I woke up this morning to get into a 21-mile run. Then I ran 21 miles this morning. I've been up for maybe 19 hours. So I'm going to go over to the site real quick and we are going to get into a mock draft. There are going to be some pretty big updates to the draft simulations with the bots that are going to get pushed out very soon that I'm excited about. But I just checked the chat with the developers and those aren't out yet. So what we'll do instead is we'll just do a public mock draft. Again, in case you don't know, you can always go to the sites and hop in a public redraft mock draft, whether it's PPR, non-PPR, half PPR. You can draft with bots. You can get in a private draft. Again, these aren't nearly as exciting as what you're going to have with an Underdog draft. You can't win any money with these. They're free drafts, but we're in. We're going to pick 9 as well. I don't know if actually we switched to pick 14 at the very end. I don't know if we've practiced from not pick 14. No, we didn't even get the switch, which sucks. But let's see. We're going to treat this as if it's the Flock League. So a 12-team full PPR double flex format. And pick 9, we are going to be in that like massive jumbled mess that you have with like a tier of players 7 through like 13, really. I'm going to, what was I doing? Oh yeah, let me show y'all that your boy needs to go to sleep. I don't think I can do as late of a live stream tonight as I have been. CD Lamb goes 105. I just got on Strava like a month ago. I don't know if the screenshot's going to show the time of the run. Puga Nacua goes, is Jefferson still available? We are going to go ahead, take Justin Jefferson relatively comfortably. And if Jefferson were to make it to us here in the Flock League, I would do a backflip. I mean, I would lose my mind. But here's our run this morning. Does it say the time on it? No, it is not. But I promise y'all we started that thing. I got up at like 4:45. So we've been up for a while. Okay. And H.N. Henry go off the board at 12-13. Genty goes at pick 14. Genty would have been an auto pick for us as well at the 204. So Brian Thomas, the highest player in the expert average rankings. Brian Thomas was also the highest player in my rankings. If you look at the expert average, it has London as the highest. If you look at mine, it has Bowers. Realistically, if you're in a 2 wide receiver, 1 flex league, I think Brock Bowers is the very easy pick. If you're in a league with multiple flex spots where you can start up to 4 wide receivers, then there it may be a little bit tougher. So let's move this over. TJ says, every single time I get an unexpected error occurred, how do I fix? Never been able to get a draft on the site. If you ever have any problems, which I know some people have said they've had problems, but realistically, I think we have like 24,000 drafts on the site done at this point. Like, what number is this? Let me see. This is number 23,800. So there have been almost 24,000 drafts on the site. So they work, trust me. See them on the live stream every night. But if you're having any issues, just send a message in the site issues section of the Discord. And one of the devs would be happy to help you out. So I just sent the Discord link in the live chat. So, and also if you are a season pass member of the site, if you go to your account page, you'll actually be able to link with the Discord and join that way as well. Kyler says sync your time and clock settings. So if your computer is set on the wrong time zone from where you actually are, then yes, you'll need to update the time. Like if your computer is the wrong time period, it does stop you from getting in the drafts for reasons that are above my head. But if you go and like set the correct time on your computer, you should be good. XX Trunk says, I don't think people realize you have to finish the mock draft before you can join another. Maybe that's it. Because yeah, that is one thing that's different on the site. We don't want anybody auto drafting. So what we have done is we've made it where as of now, you can only be in 1 draft at once. You can't be in like 10 different drafts like you can in Underdog. And if your Stoney says, what if it's not wrong, but it still says sync time? Send in the Discord. Here are my rankings. I have Lamar Jackson as by far and away the highest ranked player. I'm going to go ahead and take Lamar Jackson at the 309. Now, this is a very scary start, having an elite quarterback and an elite tight end. We tried this at the 2-3 turn in the live stream last night, and we weren't able to get it to work. We'll see if we can figure it out at running back wide receiver. The benefit that we're going to get in a redraft league here, having Bowers and Lamar, is we're just simply not going to have to draft another tight end or quarterback through the rest of this draft. I can just take running back, receiver, running back, receiver, running back, receiver. TJ says he did have a draft pending. That was the problem. Okay, good to know. Geofax has just got the promo $34 membership today. I'm picking from the 11 in your draft. Excited to use it. Hell yes. Thank you for the support, my friend. And happy to draft against you as well. Okay, Marvin Harrison off the board at the 402. Could have considered Harrison over Lamar given the fact that... So here are my rankings. I have James Cook as the highest ranked player. The expert average has Tet McMillan. In reality, I'm probably going to use... Actually, F it. Just use my rankings. We need a running back. I was going to say I was maybe going to take Xavier Worthy and continue to build out the wide receiver core, but this isn't a best ball draft. This is a redraft league. I need running backs to start week 1. So James Cook at the 404 feels like a completely fine pick. So balanced starts so far through the first 4 rounds. We have potentially the tight end 1 overall, potentially the quarterback 1 overall. Then we have Justin Jefferson and James Cook. In regards of where I think Scary Terry is going to end up, I think more likely than not, Scary Terry is going to be a Commander once the season gets here. I think that I'll probably eventually just sign a contract, but we'll see. Okay. Xavier Worthy goes 20... as wide receiver 21 off the board. Yeah, the issue with Terry McLaurin is if he were to get traded, probably not going to be a spot as good as Washington. Because Washington, you have limited competition and one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Ben says leading odds are Vegas and New England. Vegas would be brutal. If he went to the Raiders, who currently project to be like the 6th worst offense in the NFL, according to sportsbooks, and you have to compete with Bowers, Jacoby Myers, a round 2 pick, and Jack Bash. I'm not saying Jack Bash is any better than Terry McLaurin or anything, but it's real target competition. Washington, you have Deebo Samuel, and that's it. M. Fish says, asking for a trade because he wants money. That's all. It's a diva move. Here's my take on it. I don't think the Commanders should want to pay Terry McLaurin that much. And at the same time, if I was Terry McLaurin, you're at the age where this is your last chance at a big contract. If I was Terry McLaurin, I'd be doing anything I could to make as much money as I possibly could right this second. So, I understand saying like, diva, like, if you were Terry McLaurin, what's your take? Oh, I don't like money. I'm fine living as is. So my highest ranked player is RJ Harvey, but I'm actually going to go with the wide receiver instead. We will take George Pickens. Again, we are drafting as if this is the Flock League. That means start 2 wide receivers and 2 flex and full PPR. And in that case, I do want to be building up my wide receiver depth. Adam says Terry to Atlanta. Wouldn't it be awful? Yeah, it wouldn't be that bad. Jake says if he goes anywhere, Patriots would be the best place. They also have the most cap space as well. Yeah, the Patriots are like the only landing spot that makes sense in my mind. Okay, Travis Hunter goes off at the 512. If you look at the expert average ranks on the site, Travis Hunter is juiced up a ton, mainly because the FSC guys love him. Caleb Johnson, 601. We took him at like the 705 in the $500 draft. But again, best ball in comparison to this is redraft. Rome goes 602. So the player that was the highest in my rankings in the last round was RJ Harvey. We passed on him, and we're going to get him here at the 604 anyway. So now running back, we have James Cook, RJ Harvey. Wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, George Pickens. We have the elite quarterback and tight end combo with Lamar and Bowers. Like, this is a beautiful team. This is legitimately perfect. We'll see like what we can get at wide receiver and running backs in the coming rounds. But again, because we have the elite quarterback and the elite tight end, I can draft as many of them as I possibly want. I don't have to draft another quarterback. I don't have to draft another tight end. Okay. So Zay Flowers goes at the 606. I do like the Zay Flowers pick a decent amount. Mixon 607. Brian Robinson 608. Geographic says, do you not project Dobbins to remain an issue throughout the season? I mean, if I thought Dobbins was going to be no issue at all, I would have taken RJ Harvey in the 4th. Like RJ Harvey here going in the 6th does price in J.K. Dobbins. I mean, I literally just put out the video 2 days ago saying that RJ Harvey in like regular redraft leagues with an ADP where he goes in the 5th round and Trevion Henderson goes in round 6. Made a video saying don't draft RJ Harvey at the beginning of the 5th, get Trevion Henderson in the 6th instead. For the reasons that a Harvey versus Henderson, Henderson clearly has more upside. I don't want to say clearly has more upside, but in my opinion, is a much better player. But in this draft, Trevion Henderson goes to the 502 and RJ Harvey goes to the 604. So, again, there are very few players that I hate. It's mainly just the cost associated with these guys. And RJ Harvey at the 604 is fine. Okay, Travis Kelce goes 705. Like, if we're going to see Kelce go 705, then the Bowers pick at the 204 crushes. Like, if this is the cost of Burrow, where Burrow goes in round 5, Lamar in round 3 couldn't be better. If if Kelce goes in round 7, then Brock Bowers in round 2 couldn't be better. So my highest ranked player is going to be Tony Pollard. The site's highest ranked player is going to be Aaron Jones. But I'm going to listen to my rankings on this one. We'll take Tony Pollard as our 3rd running back. A big thing is if you're going to be looking at the running back versus wide receiver position here at the 7-8 turn, there are way more wide receivers available to us than there are running backs. So, like Tony Pollard, Aaron Jones, kind of the last running backs in this tier. However, there are like 8 wide receivers that we could reasonably look at. So, Judkins goes to the 7-11. Khalil Shakir goes 7-12. Baker Mayfield goes to 801. So we're taking a wide receiver here. It just comes down to who are we going to end up getting. Jonathan says most drafts are 1 flex, not 2. Yeah, if you go to the draft sheets that we posted on the site, you can find stuff there for 1 flex leagues. For me specifically, though, we're going to take Jawan Jennings. He's the highest ranked player in my rankings, and he's the highest ranked player in the average ranks as well. Dealing with the calf injury, which isn't ideal, but not every injury being dealt with right now is going to turn into McCaffrey's from last year. And I'm practicing specifically for my league, which I would suggest you do the same. But I would suggest for you is if you only play in 1 league, if you play in 2 leagues and they're both the same settings, and that's a 1 flex, get in your practice for your 1 flex league. My league is a double flex league, so I'm drafting with that in mind. Which in reality, my team as it stands right now would be much, much better in a league with only 1 flex. Like, I have a video coming out very soon that will show you that getting an elite tight end and elite quarterback in a league with one flex is a straight up cheat code. Cedar says, oh shoot, is this sleeper? This is not sleeper. This is the mock draft platform on FlockFantasy.com, where you can join the public mock drafts. You don't need to invite people. Jaden Reed goes to the 807. David Njoku goes 809. Great for us to see as many of these tight ends get drafted as possible. Benny says, Mason, will we be seeing a better draft from you this year in the Flock League? Let's be realistic here. I arguably had the best draft in the Flock League last season. Last season, I finished second in the league in the standings at 9-5. Despite right before the year trading away Nico Collins for Jalen Waddle and Ramondre Stevenson. And like literally 30 minutes before Hollywood Brown was ruled out for the season, I traded Amari for Hollywood Brown. Still got second in the standings. God bounced for my editor in the semis. So our draft last year was beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Matthew Golden makes it down to day 12. I love that value for Matthew Golden. I'll take a ton of them. Bo Nix goes at the 811. Darnell Mooney off 902. Caleb goes 903. Realistically, you get to a point where you're kind of in the range of quarterbacks that the Lamar team, the Hurts team, the Daniels team, the Allen team, they're not going to take another. Like, you look at this draft board specifically, every team has a quarterback besides two. So you get to a point where it's like, why would you draft another? Why didn't you just wait 3 rounds and get Jordan Love? So, see Zach saying that I finished third. I actually would have finished third in the playoffs, my friend, if it wasn't for the fact that I let my guys for the third place matchup take a hard-earned vacation. I didn't want to risk injury for them in their careers. For somebody that has as high of a standard as I do, it's really championship or bust. I don't really care about anything other than that. So for that third place matchup, told the guys, take the week off. I'll see him next year. And so we actually didn't get third. I got fourth. But I know you're correctly identifying I would have got third if we didn't do that. I have Brandon Ayuk as my highest ranked player at this point. If we look at the expert average, Michael Pittman is right ahead of him. We'll take Ayuk. I mean, if you're making this decision in your regular draft, it's all going to come down to, do you have that IR slot where you're able to throw Ayuk on and he doesn't have to clog your bench, limiting you from waiver wire pickups early in the offseason? Okay. Zach says, I scored the most points in any week ever against you to win third. I don't know if you were just listening to me 15 seconds ago, but I understand. I took a team off. I took the week off. Like, we had no meetings. The defensive coordinator was in Cancun. Yeah, I mean, when I had no defensive coordinator and none of my players played, I'm sure you put up a lot of points. I wasn't even at the stadium. I wouldn't know. Okay. Let's see. Pittman does end up going about 4 picks after we take Ayuk. Trey Benson goes 10-02. So Keon's our highest graded receiver. This is my rankings, right? Keon's my best receiver. Running back, I have Ramondre at this point. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Jennings, Ayuk. We're going to go with Keon Coleman. Realistically, we can't start Brandon Ayuk at the beginning of the season. we need somebody that gives us an upside flex spot. This is a full PPR format. I wouldn't expect Ramondre to really have the receiving role even at the beginning of the season, given the Henderson skill set. So I'd feel more comfortable if I'm chasing the ceiling to put Keon in my flex. Andrew says, I thought the $500 drafts were on Sundays. We'll do another $500 draft on Sunday as well, but we had to celebrate 1, football being back, and 2, obviously, our guy Trey Lance. How am I not going to celebrate this fine day? Fantasy Lance says, I love the excuses. Your players can smell it. I'm just confused. I'll say that much. And yeah, we're going to do kicker and defense again in the Flock League. Luther Burden goes at the 10-10. Realistically, if we're trying to get a position to fall to us in the next few rounds, it's probably going to be running back. Caesar says, Mason, will you play over-under picks for the preseason or only the regular season? If you're looking at underdog pick'em projections, I stay away from them in the preseason because realistically, I have no idea. Like if you're super into DFS, maybe you'd be interested in the preseason pick'em for underdog. But like I would never have been able to tell you how much any individual player is going to be playing in the game that happened tonight, right? Well, let me see. Do they have any more of the preseason picks out? No, they have the week 1 stuff out, but they don't have. Maybe they have some preseason. Let's see where it would be, though. Okay, Dylan Sampson goes to the 11:05. Let's move this down. We are just running back wide receiver. Somebody, I think it was Vinny, who asked us to make it kind of like Underdog where you can select multiple positions, which that's how we have it on the rankings page as well. So I think we're going to incorporate that because realistically, again, looking at this, like I just effectively want to cross off all these quarterbacks and tight ends whenever I have Lamar and Bowers. This is sorted by my rankings, sort by expert average. It's still the elite, it's still the quarterbacks and tight ends at the top of the board, which does maybe mean you should stray away from taking the elite quarterbacks. My main take of it is like, I just think you should stray away from taking like Kyler with where he goes here or Patrick Mahomes in round 5. Looking at this, let's sort by my ranks. I have Najee at running back. Shahid at receiver. We'll take Najee Harris. We'll take the Cyclops. The good thing about the Cyclops is, 1, maybe he starts on the IR and he doesn't waste a spot for us. And 2, if he finally takes off the eye patch and we see that the eye is completely gone, I can send him to the waiver wire. No harm, no foul. So Isaac Garindo goes right after. And so running back, we have James Cook, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris. Wide receiver, we have Jefferson, Pickens, Jennings, Ayuk, Keon. And then we have the elite tight end with Bowers and the elite quarterback with Lamar. So I really like this team. Week 1, your starting lineups, James Cook, Tony Pollard at running back, Jefferson, Pickens at receiver, quarterback Lamar, tight end Bowers, and then probably in the 2 flex spots, you got like RJ Harvey and Jawan Jennings. So a lot of it would come down to if you're able to go through and effectively find some of those waiver wire pickups at running back at the beginning of the season. But there's a world in which you just take Justin Fields and then see if, which realistically Fields is somebody that you could trade during the season if he does have some pretty big spike weeks to open the year. We've seen Fields be a top 3 quarterback in fantasy before. So taking Fields on a Lamar team, the only scenario you ever do this is if you think you can sell him later, which we'll swing it. Getting him here after Kyle Williams, Cedric Tillman. realistically, the majority of these players are probably going to get cut anyway. Okay, Michael says, with tonight's Hall of Fame game results, does this change any of the ADP rankings, i.e. Trey Harris only getting one target as example? I will change legitimately nothing from the Hall of Fame game. It's fun to see Trey Lance ball. But like, who cares if Hampton got tackled and maybe took a bad route to the end zone? Who cares if Trey Harris only had one target? Couldn't matter less. Hunter Harris says, I DM'd you on Discord. I'm from the AMA. Thanks again. Thank you, my guy. I will definitely check that out. Probably tomorrow. Your boy is very tired. Woke up very early and definitely need to go to bed. Everybody excited about KLS. I know. I saw everybody on Twitter going nuts. Okay. We are just kind of running back and receiver. This is sorted by my ranks. What's the expert average? Expert average has Lawrence as the top. Britton Strange goes 1305. I mean, if you were going to take a tight end here at the end with having Brock Bowers, it's kind of the similar scenario, taking quarterback at the end, having Lamar. It's just, do you think you could flip him for a profit? Like, hypothetically, Fields goes out there and he's a top 3 quarterback through the first 3 weeks of the year. I think I could trade Justin Fields for one of those players that went in round 8. I think I could trade Justin Fields for Jaden Reed. Like, tight ends, Dallas Goedert goes out there and he's the tight end 8 this season through the first month of the year. Do I think I can trade Dallas Goedert for Jaden Reed? Probably not. So what I'm going to do here, these are my ranks. What are the expert average? I'm going to disagree with the expert average when it comes to running back. Given the positive buzz that we've had coming out of New York, I will take Braylon Allen, who could be a premium handcuff back if anything were to occur to Breece Hall, but at the same time could have some standalone work, which is probably more relevant in best ball because I don't know if you'd ever trust him enough to get him into his your starting lineup. But we'll run with it. And Roshan goes, I'm excited to see where we are in the league analyzer. I think we have a good shot to be number 1 in the league analyzer. These are the expert average. I guess I'm a lot lower on Jack Besh than the expert average. I have Mims Leggett. I need to move Mims lower in my rankings. That's a best ball mindset. Okay, Dallas Goedert goes 13-12. Let me move Mims down. Jack Besh goes. Like I said, that was the number 1 wide receiver on the board in the expert average ranks. Thornton goes. I have no interest in Thornton. I think I want Leggett instead of Besh. Yeah, we're going to take Leggett. Round 1 draft capital. Horrible rookie season. Not a super compelling prospect profile either. But Thielen could be complete dust. And at the same time, you potentially could have a slow start from Tet McMillan. I'm not a big Jalen Coker believer, so we'll take Leggett. Now wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, George Pickens, Juwan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, Keon Coleman, Xavier Leggett. Running back, we have James Cook, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, Braylon Allen. Quarterback, we have Lamar and Fields with the hope to sell Fields. And then tight end, we have Brock Bowers. So I actually really like this team. CJ Stroud goes 1408. Miles Sanders, 14-10. Love the Miles Sanders last round pick just because if you get to week 1, he has a significant role. That's great. And if he's useless week 1, you just cut him. No problem. Well, let's see what the league analyzer says, and let's see if we did not have as good of a draft as we thought. I just think we have enough value across all positions, mainly. And we have a ton of quarterback and tight end value. All right, let's see where we're at. In at the 4 slot, I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain. And I bet you if we use our own rankings that we'd be even higher. But let's not use our own rankings for now. Let's just use the rankings of everybody else on the site. We have the best tight end room in the league, obviously, with Brock Bowers, according to the league analyzer. We also have the best quarterback room in the league with Lamar and Justin Fields, according to the league analyzer. Running back, we have the 10th best room with James Cook, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, Najee, Braylon Allen. Wide receiver, we have an average room with Jefferson, Pickens, Jennings, Ayuk, Keon, and Leggett. So, bookend, Bowers and Lamar, we're elite. We're below average at running back, and we are average at receiver. If we sort it by my rankings, however, I actually jump up to the second team. And my rankings have our wide receiver room at 5 and our running back room slightly better at 8. But I am happy about that overall. I think we had a good draft. I actually really like this team. But let me back out of this. And this was the, we can actually see. This was the 23,806th draft on FlockFantasy.com, which is just, that large a number is crazy to think about just for regular free mock draft stuff. But again, we are going to keep this live stream the same. We are going to keep drafting underdog teams to open it up because realistically, I have way more fun drafting underdog teams because there's real money on the line. This is just, I need some practice for the Flock League, and obviously quarterback and tight end strategy is going to be quite different here. So I'd love to draft with you in those underdog drafts. Definitely don't get in a $500 draft underdog team, right? Go for the lower underdog buy-ins. Hopefully they drop another $3, $4 tournament for y'all sometime soon. But I will also send out the draft sheets in the morning for everybody that signed up to Underdog Fantasy with code FLOCK in 2025, and we'll send those updated versions out every Friday. And if you're not able to get on Underdog, you can see the map here, Underdogs in your state. Or if maybe you took advantage of that offer that we had with Underdog Fantasy last year, or the year prior, the year before that, and you still wanted access to get all our stuff for this season. Over there on FlockFantasy.com, if you want to join the site, if you want to be a member of the Flock, we just dropped the cheapest offer that we've ever had, not even remotely close. And so saying that I didn't know how long it was going to last and if we were going to be profitable with it, just didn't know how many people were going to sign up. Looks like enough people are signing up where this is going to be something that we keep until the season gets here. So it's not too late to join. If you want to get access to everything that's on the site, including the My Teams page, the prospects page, the trade calculator, the rankings, both rest of season rankings and weekly rankings throughout the entire year. If you want to get your trade questions and start set questions answered by me, it's all on flockfantasy.com. I'll drop a link in the live chat. And if you use promo code FLOCK, that is how you will get me to be answering your questions, both start, set, and trade during the season. But I appreciate y'all for hanging out with us again. I am super, super tired, if you can't tell. I'm going to walk this dog. I got to make some slow picks on Underdog. And then I'm going to get to bed. And hopefully, if you're in the Discord, you'll see a very exciting announcement regarding the draft stuff on flockfantasy.com with the devs putting it out any minute now. Maybe they've put it out already. Let me see. No, they have not. But they'll have it out tonight, so I'll make the announcement in the morning in the Discord, and then I'll obviously make the announcement tomorrow night in the stream as well. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you, and really hope I get to see you out with the live stream.